White Rocket Entertainment podcast number 953. Music here.
That's a lot of podcasts, man.
It is a lot of podcasts, my friend. Welcome to the White Rocket Babylon 5 and Sci-Fi Review podcast. This is our special New Year 2026 episode. The perfect time to do this. I'll explain what this is in just a second, but I'm Van Allen Plexico, your host, joined as always by my co-host, Andy Fix. I see you on video. You are out there, Andy. How are you today?
I am. I'm doing well, Van. Happy New Year to you.
Oh, Happy New Year to you too. I forgot to turn on the audio recorder, but we are on YouTube, so I can just get the audio from there. Dang it. What we are doing here, this is the perfect time to do this, and I'm not recording it on audio either, so crap. Let's do the beginning over again. People on YouTube, you just have to bear with us.
You get to see the inner workings of the vast White Rocket Entertainment Network production team.
That's it. Well, this is the first time we've done video live, you and I. And so for the first time ever, I forgot to turn on the recorder, the audio recorder. Turn the video recorder on. Let's do it again. Here we go.
All right.
White Rocket Entertainment podcast number 953.
Shouldn't that be 953.5?
It should. Hello and welcome to the White Rocket Babylon 5 and Sci-Fi Review podcast with our special New Year 2026 episode. I will tell you what that episode topic is in just a moment. But first, I am your host, Van Allen Plexico, joined as always by my co-host, Andy Fix. Andy, I see you out there. Thanks to the miracle of video technology, I know you are indeed out there in podcast land.
Yes, we have joined the 20th century with our video shenanigans. Only a few decades late, but we're here.
It's true. We are well ensconced in the 20th century here, and someday aspire to make it to the 21st. What we are going to do today, and this is a sort of a special episode in between our Babylon 5 and other movie and TV reviews, is we're just going to look at every movie released. It's going to be a long show. We have looked at every movie released since 2000, so 2001 through 2025, the 25 years, the first 25 years of the new century and the new millennium. Yeah. And we have chosen our top 25 for 25. So this is 25 for 25, our top 25 movies. That's a lot of 25s of 2001 through 2025.
Yeah.
And we're going to rank them, count them down, or at least say what they are, right? I ranked mine from 25 down to 1. You don't like ranking. You just sort of have a pool. Is that correct?
That is correct. I can't rank stuff because how do you compare like Appaloosa to Avatar or to the event? I mean, they're all so different. I mean, and I'm in a different mood when I'm watching each one, so I can't rank them.
Okay. Well, I have no problem doing it, and I'm gonna vindictively and arbitrarily throw movies under the bus or rank them high depending on my mood. But I have, and in fact, done that. So we also have. I gave Andy the permission of the show to do up to 10 honorable mentions. I think I have like 7. So how many ever we have. Now, I have a special caveat I have to mention. We're going to get right into this because we got basically 50 movies plus honorable mentions to talk about.
Right.
And we're going to discuss why briefly each one. So we're going to get this in like an hour and 15 minutes like we usually do. But I got to say up front, and I hadn't told you this, the big challenge I had with this is, I told you a while ago, I've had a top 100, top 150 movies of all time list that I keep kind of running on my computer at all times. And I add movies and move movies around and all that. But what I've always done is I've never included James Bond movies or Marvel movies on that list because I think of them as like a different thing. They're like almost a different type of entertainment from just random movies. You know what
exactly.
I mean?
Right. I agree.
But for this, I said, all right, I'm just doing top 25 movies. I've got to merge those 3 lists together. And it was really interesting to me. I think the most interesting thing to me about this exercise, for me personally, was where do those movies fit into my existing list? And it turned out that 5 of the top 25 came from the James Bond and Marvel pool. And 20 came from the everything else pool. I didn't know if it was going to be 15 and 10 or 0 and 25. I had no idea, but it ended up being 5. So you all get to find out what they're going to be. So without further ado, let's get on into it. How do you want to do the? And we got a few questions we're going to hit at the end too. In fact, I'm going to move them in my notes up so that I don't forget, because we have a few questions we're going to discuss. We have a little discussion segment at the end. Now, how do you want to do the honorable mentions? Do you want to just each of us blow through the whole set, or you want to go back and forth on those? What do you think would work better?
Well, we can go back and forth on those.
Okay, how many do you have?
I have 10.
Okay, I have 7. So do your first 3, and then I'll go.
All right, my first 3 are Brotherhood of the Wolf, which was an excellent kung fu movie from the early 2000s. My Big Fat Greek Wedding, which I absolutely adored, and Master and Commander.
Master and Commander in the honorable mention.
I told you I had 100 movies. The fact that it made the top 35 is pretty impressive.
That's true. That's a true thing. But still,
I know.
I'll say this: Master and Commander has fallen in my rankings a bit over the years, just because so many other good movies have come along.
Right.
Even though I love the books, in fact, it was because of the movie that I started watching them. Well, we'll get to that. To that. All right. So that was your first 3.
Yep.
And by the way, I like My Big Fat Greek Wedding. When I talk about the Sikh religion in my religion course in college, I call Bend It Like Beckham My Big Fat Sikh Wedding.
That's awesome.
If you've ever seen it. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Here's my number 7 honorable mention: Baby Driver, 2017. Which is one of the things I love about it. It's a great crime caper movie, and I love those. But it's also set in Atlanta, and a good chunk of it toward the end goes through the hotels where Dragon Con is held. So you actually get to see a bunch of the Dragon Con food court and everything in the middle of Baby Driver.
Nice.
So that's a great one. All right, go with your next one.
All right, my next 3 or my next one? My next one.
Next one.
Next one I have is John Carter of Mars.
John Carter, yeah. If only it were called John Carter of Mars.
Well, at the very, very end there, they had the little of Mars show up. Like, this is what we wanted to call it, but our marketing team wouldn't let us.
That's true. So, all right, more about that one coming in a little bit.
Right.
My number 6 honorable mention, and honestly, this should be higher because I just got through saying how much I love heist movies, is Logan Lucky. Logan Lucky has also been called Ocean 7-Eleven. And this is Adam Driver and Daniel Craig robbing a NASCAR race, but it's from the same producer and director as
the heist universe.
It's a great one. Logan Lucky, absolutely. All right, you're next.
All right, Before Midnight, Art Linklatter's the third of his Before trilogy. I thought was awesome.
Yeah,
the first one falls just before the this list starts, and the middle one is actually on my main list. So
one thing our listeners and viewers are going to discover is that you are far more sophisticated in your film taste than I am. It should come as no surprise. Andy is a cosmopolitan man of the world, and I'm just a doofus from Alabama.
No, that's not true. I just thought it was a great movie.
All right, let's see. Next up for me, I'm not a horror fan, but I'm known as a big space horror fan. And Pandorum from 2009. By the way, Logan Lucky and Baby Driver both came out in 2017, a good heist year. Pandorum 2009 is a sort of a overlooked horror zombies in space movie with a really cool twist ending. So I really like Pandorum.
Very cool. My next one is Kubo and the Two Strings, just an amazing animated movie. Really? Oh, you have to watch that one, Van. The storytelling is phenomenal. It's a great movie.
All right. Well, I sent you my list. You'll have to send me yours, and then I can kind of work on some of these sophisticated highbrow things.
It's not sophisticated. I have kung fu movies on here and monster movies. Come on, I'm not sophisticated.
My number 4 honorable mention as I count down is another movie I would have thought would have made the top 25 from 2001, the very beginning of our list, The Lost Skeleton of Cadavra.
Oh, love that movie.
Great classic comedy pretending to be a 1950s serious sci-fi movie. It has some of the most hilarious dialogue. There's a sequel movie, and there's a book that the main guy wrote. Right. So we're gonna go do science.
Fold yourself in the middle. Yeah, it is extremely low budget. I mean, this wasn't something that got a wide theatrical release or anything like that. It was direct to video or whatever, but it was absolutely hilarious.
Didn't need a big budget.
No, it didn't.
Always agree. Always agree. What's your next one?
My next one is Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange is one of my favorite superheroes. So even though the movie was slightly flawed, it was still fabulous to watch.
Yeah, I liked it, but
right,
it was debatable. Okay. My next honorable mention is number 3, Chronicles of Riddick. Another one I thought would have been in my top 25. And the interesting thing about Chronicles of Riddick from 2004 is this was the first sequel to Pitch Black.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the one that has the giant army of Warhammer 40,000 soldiers. First time I saw it, I hated it because I was expecting a movie like Pitch Black. But then it dawned on me, this is a Warhammer 40,000 movie,
totally,
basically starring Conan the Barbarian. And I'm like, dude, this is one of the greatest movies ever. So it's been in my top movies list ever since that.
I have a love-hate relationship with this movie because it has absolutely nothing to do with Pitch Black. Nothing. Right. I mean, the name of the main character and the actor carries over, but even his character isn't the same as it was in Pitch Black. I mean, it's completely different movie.
That's
all right. My next one is John Wick Chapter 2, which was just an awesome movie. All 4 of those John Wick movies were just fabulous, but number 2 did not make the main list. So
none of the Wick movies made my list, but I do love the series. It's one of those things where it's one of those where I could see in a few years I've rewatched them so many times that it does creep up.
Yep.
There's not quite enough there to get onto my top 25 list, but I do love them. And speaking of John Wick 2, Bill Simmons' rewatchables list, where he did a thing similar to this last week, he had John Wick 2 as the highest ranked of the John Wick movies. He said it was the best one.
I go back and forth between that one and the first one. The first one, because it just sets up the whole world and everything. That one made my main list, but the second one is really good because it expands that world and the action's a little bit more intense.
Yeah, and I don't think I have it on here. It should have been an honorable mention. Though I want to throw out a little love to Ballerina. I thought Ballerina was probably the second or third best movie of 2025.
And
I think it ended up being I think around number 3 for the year.
The Wick movies, all 4 of the Wick movies are basically one story. I mean, it just picks up right where the last one left off. Sure. So yeah.
And there's a lot of him in Ballerina too.
Yeah.
My number 2 honorable mention you're going to look at me funny, but this was a movie that just struck me the right way at the right time in 2018. Peter Rabbit.
Yeah.
I was dragged to that movie by my family. I had no interest in watching it. In fact, I was writing Vegas Heist on my phone in the theater instead of watching the movie. And then I kept looking up and, well, they're cute. Well, this is funny. Well, this is good. And it pulled me in. And I said, if a movie can drag me away from writing what ended up being an award-winning novel, just to watch these wacky rabbits running around, then it must be a pretty darn good movie. I also like that the 3 little rabbits have the Star Trek uniforms on.
Yeah.
Always kind of fun. The 2018 Peter Rabbit.
It was a fun movie. My next one is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I thought that was just such a fun movie. The animation was great. It was fantastic.
That's a movie that actually Mira's favorite movie was Ready Player One, and then when she saw that one, she said, "No, this is my new favorite movie."
Nice.
Now this was when she was younger. I'm sure she's changed a million times since then, but she went from Ready Player One to that. So, all right, my last honorable mention, and I really wanted this one to get into the 25, is Unstoppable from 2010. This was Denzel Washington and Chris Pine trying to stop a runaway train barreling through like Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
It's one of Quentin Tarantino's favorite movies. He talks about it a lot. Yeah. And it is just a fun roller coaster ride. It's one of those movies where there's not a lot to it. Like the opening scene, the train breaks loose, and for the next hour and a half, they're trying to stop it, and they stop it, and the movie's over. I respect that. That's cool, right? So I have that one as my very last honorable mention. My
last one, and this is one that was on my main 25 up until the final round of cuts. It was Aquaman. Aquaman was never my favorite superhero, and I really am not a big fan of the DC cinematic universe. but holy crap, this movie was a lot of fun. I mean, it was the Jack Kirbyest of all the DC movies, and Jack Kirby had nothing to do ever with Aquaman. I mean, it was fabulous.
That's a good point. I remember liking it a lot at the time. I do. So, there we go. All right, so let's get into it then. I'm going to count down backwards from my 25th favorite movie of the last 25 years to my first, and you just go in whatever order makes you happy.
All right.
Who's going to lead off? You want to flip a coin, or how do you want to do it?
You can go ahead and lead off because I have like 4 or 5 movies that overlap with yours, so I'll just toss mine. We'll have the same discussion about the same movie when you bring it up.
Yeah. I figure we'll have a shorter discussion the second time or the first time. How do you want to do that? You can see Andy and I work these things out very carefully.
Well, let's just start and we'll go from there.
All right. My number 25 movie of the 25 for 25 from 2010, Ridley Scott's Robin Hood. This is a movie that was disparaged on release, did not do well, but there's a reason it's on my list. Because it is a backdoor sequel to Kingdom of Heaven. Kingdom of Heaven ends with with Richard the Lionheart heading off for the Crusades. That's almost the last scene of Kingdom of Heaven. Right. Is Richard the Lionheart heading off for the Crusades, and Robin Hood by Ridley Scott picks up when he's on his way back.
Oh wow!
And you get a very great 2 or 3 hour continuation. The director's cut, especially as usual, right, with Ridley Scott, is better. And you have Russell Crowe as Robin Hood, and it's probably my favorite take on Robin Hood because it's so different from all the others. It's not him running around in tights shooting arrows in Sherwood Forest. It is very much a gritty English history movie that fits right into the end of the Crusades and Kingdom of Heaven. So 2010's Robin Hood by Ridley Scott.
But if he's not running around in tights in the Sherwood Forest and shooting arrows, why is he called Robin Hood? That was my main issue with the movie.
Well, because he's Robin of Locksley and he's with Maid Marian and he does shoot arrows and he does have Little John and all that. It's just a different story. Yeah. And Oscar Isaac as King John.
Yeah, as a Robin Hood snob, I was not a fan of this movie, but I respect your opinion.
I understand that completely. All right, what is your first one?
My first one is from 2002. It's Spider-Man. The Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. Mostly because I grew up as a huge Spider-Man fan. I had been reading Spider-Man comics since 1973, so he was always my favorite superhero. And to see him in live action for the first, well, not counting the really bad, cheesy late 70s TV movies, but to see him in live action flipping around just like straight from the comic book pages just was amazing. So that left a huge impression on me. It was absolutely my favorite movie of probably the early 2000s. My second favorite superhero movie of all time. So yeah, it's a great movie.
You have to excuse me. I'm trying. I've got the sun just came out. Andy and I planned these things so carefully, as you can see. I'm just trying to block it a little bit because it was shining light right on my face.
Well, we usually record these after hours, like after dinner, like 9 o'clock. So we don't have this problem normally.
Yeah, this is like unprecedented for us to have to deal with the sunshine.
Right.
Like, oh, for crap's sake. All right. Hold on a minute. All right. Clearly,
quality entertainment.
Clearly, we're going to have to do some serious editing when this is done. But I've just messed up from start to finish. It's all my fault. But anyway, all right. Let's get to the next one. What was your first one?
Spider-Man.
Yeah. Okay. So number 24 for me, same year as Spider-Man, 2002, is Hero with Jet Li. This awesome movie. I'm not a huge martial arts guy, really, but Hero is just an incredibly beautiful movie. It has a lot in common visually with Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, but I like it a lot more. In it, it's basically there's an emperor that's evil, and Jet Li has to work his way closer and closer to the emperor to try to assassinate him, basically.
Yep.
And but the emperor doesn't know who the assassin is, and so Jet Li has to do different things that keep making him rise up in the emperor's favor to get him closer and closer, right? And he battles. There's a series of battles almost against like level bosses from a video game
Right.
as he works his way up, and it's just a gorgeous, gorgeous movie. Watch it on 4K if you can get it on a really nice TV or
And some of the battles are just epic scale battles. I mean, I think wasn't there one scene when the sky was filled with arrows?
Yes.
Yeah, that was just amazing.
And there's another scene where like these leaves are slowly falling off trees and the screen changes to like a pink or whatever.
Yep.
Oh, man.
Visually, it's an amazing movie. It's very well done. I thoroughly enjoyed that movie as well.
Yeah. Okay, what's up for you?
Next one up for me is a kung fu movie as well. Not quite. See, this is where we reverse the sophistication. All right, I have Kung Fu Hustle.
Yeah. All right, fun.
Stephen Chow movie, absolutely a blast. I loved all his what was the other one? Kung Fu Shaolin Soccer was just fantastic as well.
Oh, I love that movie. Yes,
but Kung Fu Hustle had everything. It had I can't get into everything, but it was set in the 1930s in Hong Kong. It had gangsters, the Hatchet Squad. It had musicians using their instruments as weapons, the whole 9 yards. It was just a great, fun kung fu movie.
Those movies are fun. I remember Shaolin Soccer for sure. All right, number 23 for me is from 2012. You mentioned a minute ago, John Carter, or A Princess of Mars, or John Carter of Mars, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
This was a labor of love by the guy that did. He had done animated movies, right? Didn't he do the Iron Giant? Maybe.
No, he did Pixar movies. He might have done Iron Giant before he went to Pixar, but he was a Pixar guy.
Okay, yeah. I mean, he came over and did this as a live action movie, and I can see the things in it that held it back, but the biggest thing that held it back, and there's actually a book. There's a whole book called John Carter and the Gods of Hollywood that talks about all the things Disney did to destroy any chance this movie would do well. Right. Basically, they killed it before it could ever get going, and they marketed it like it was for kindergartners. Yeah. And they took away any vestige of Mars out of it. People didn't know what it was going to be. But it is just a fantastic pulp sci-fi planetary romance movie, I think, and I love it. Yeah,
John Carter was the original superhero, so when people saw everything he was doing on screen, they're like, "Oh, this is so derivative," and it's like, no, everything else is derivative of John Carter.
That's like when people said that Gandalf in the Lord of the Rings movies was ripping off Dumbledore, and I'm pulling my hair out, going, "Okay, yeah." All right, so John Carter from 2012 is number 23. What's next for you?
All right, next one for me is Before Sunset. We mentioned these earlier. This is Art Linklatter's Before trilogy. It was just a fantastic trilogy with golly, I can't even think of his name right now.
I've never seen
Ethan Hawke, and it starts out. It was before. This is the second of the three. And they filmed these movies 9 or 10 years apart, right? So each of these, the characters actually age the actual 9 years. So, but each one is this couple that keeps running into each other randomly, and then it's just how their lives intersect and how they're obviously in love, and it's a love story of people who are not together. So it's really well done.
Yeah, I've always heard about them. I just never have seen them. My number 22 from 2013 is a very contemporary sci-fi movie, Gravity. This is Sandra Bullock and Ocean's 11.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, we'll come to us in a second.
Right, when we're on our third movie down the list.
Yeah. But it's mostly Sandra Bullock, and she's an astronaut up on the space station, and some kind of debris hits, and it's all about her just trying to get from Earth orbit down to the Earth. But it is incredibly well done. I think that's Inarritu, Andreas Inarritu, maybe, that directed that.
Yes.
And his work is always fantastic. Really appreciate and enjoy that. So Gravity, number 22 for me.
This one was also on my list, and it was we saw it in the theater in 3D, and that was absolutely stunning. There are some scenes that actually gave me anxiety, like when she was floating away from the station. We saw it on what's that big giant screen? IMAX in 3D, and watching her on that screen in 3D float away, I felt like I was there with her, and it was just creepy and terrifying. But yeah, the movie was fantastic. There, like you said, there wasn't a whole lot to it. I mean, it was a very basic plot, try to get back to Earth, but what she had to go through, and I mean, it was a lot like The Martian. You know, she had to science her way through all of this, and it was very well done, visually stunning, and very well acted.
That would be a good double billing. That's one of the things they often mention on the rewatchables is what would be a good double billing.
Oh yeah,
The Martian and Gravity, and George Clooney's the name we were looking.
George Clooney, that's right. Yep.
He's only in about a quarter of the movie, but he's that's more than anybody else except her, right?
Right, so. Exactly. Yeah, that's another thing about the movie. It's just Sandra Bullock in in space.
Yeah, so I just called it. Oh, that would have been an even bigger hit. Sandra Bullock in space. Huge hit. Heck yeah. All right. What's your next one up?
Next one up is Spider-Man 2, the greatest superhero movie ever made. It's absolutely fantastic. It has the greatest supervillain ever put to screen with Dr. Octopus. You know, it was just so well written and filmed, and it set up a great part 3, which we never got, but it was just the perfect superhero movie from beginning to end.
It really was a great one. Yeah, it's certainly my favorite of all the Spider-Man movies. I like the current Spider-Man better overall as a character, as an actor playing Spider-Man, just because he seems more the right age, and he's got that little personality. But I thought of all the Spider-Man movies, that's the best one, top to bottom.
Right. The original Spider-Man movies, Spider-Man was a little bit older. They went for the college age Peter Parker, which was the age he was when I started reading Spider-Man comics in the early 70s. So yeah, we can get a whole podcast about the different Spider-Man franchises. So yeah.
All right, my number 21 movie from 2018, and it's probably the only movie I have on here that includes Gerard Butler, even though I dearly love Gerard Butler. Is Den of Thieves. Den of Thieves is another heist movie. I'm big on heist movies.
Right. And oddly.
I've written 2, and I'm currently writing a 3rd book. But Den of Thieves, Butler and his crew, it's almost like The Shield, that great TV show with Michael Tippett.
Yeah. That was a great show.
Butler and his crew are the allegedly good guys, but they're as nasty and bad as the bad guys. And the bad guys are planning to rob a federal depository, which is insane because you can't. And they figure out a way to kind of do it. And the whole movie is a cat and mouse game. And you never know who are really the good guys, who are the bad guys. What's going on? There's a sequel that just came out last year called Pantera, Den of Thieves 2. And it wasn't nearly as good. It was okay. It was all right. But Den of Thieves does contain the great Benihana scene where all the criminals are having dinner together around the big hibachi table at Benihana, and Gerard Butler, Big Nick, and his crew come in, and he just starts messing with them until you think there's going to be like a hibachi fight. It's so good. So Den of Thieves is my 21st movie on the list.
All right. My next one on the list is 2005's King Kong. King Kong, the original King Kong is one of my favorite movies of all time. I watched that when I was a kid, right after I saw the 1976 King Kong. So I've been a King Kong, all iterations of King Kong I've loved. And this one was just so beautifully shot. It was like 3 hours long. I got the director's cut, so that adds almost another hour to it. It went far more in depth into the island, Skull Island, and the flora and fauna of Skull Island. It included he filmed a bunch of scenes that were cut from the original King Kong. So we got to see a lot of the really cool stuff that we never got to see in the original. I mean, it was just a fabulous movie. It was a great rollicking adventure. It had all the emotional impact of when King Kong died. Spoiler: when King Kong dies at the end. But it's one of my favorite all-time movies.
Yeah, that one was a real passion project for Peter Jackson. He was working on the setup for that movie while he was finishing Lord of the Rings.
Right, right. And this was kind of his gift for doing Lord of the Rings. They said, okay, you can do any movie you want if you do these three movies for us. He said King Kong. They're like, done.
Yeah, it didn't do great at the box office, unfortunately.
It was overlong, and I mean it was, but I don't care how well it did. I loved it. It's near and dear to my heart.
All right, my number 20 movie is one of my top movies of this decade, which just shows you how many movies on the rest of the top 19 didn't really come from this decade. This has not been a good decade so far.
No.
Movies, not by any means. In this fact, this might be my number one movie of the decade so far at number 20, and that's 2022's Sisu. Now, people may be like, what? This is the movie about the Scandinavian guy who comes home from World War II or during World War II, and he finds some gold, and he just wants to take his gold, him and his dog, and take his gold home. And the Nazis get in the way, and Sisu proceeds to destroy like the entire Third Reich single-handedly on his way home with his money, and it is glory. It is almost like a Looney Tunes, like a Warner Brothers cartoon, where he just wreaks havoc through these Nazis from one end to another. Now, Sisu 2 just came out a few weeks ago, and I saw it in the theater, and it was good, but it was just kind of like, and now he kills some Russians, because they need killing too. But this is the original and still the best. So 2022 Sisu at number 20.
I know a lot of people I don't know many people who have seen this movie, but everybody who has seen it absolutely loves it. So it's definitely on my list of movies I will eventually want to watch, but I just haven't had a chance to. I don't even know where it's streaming or anything like that.
I don't know where I found it, but it is just for warning. I mean, it's the farthest thing from realism. It is just like gonzo cartoony violence, and it's fantastic.
Yep. All right. Well, my next movie, which is also from 2022 and also is a cartoony gonzo action movie, is called RRR. It is a Bollywood movie. Oh, Van, you have to track this. If you like Sisu for the cartoony action, you have got to watch. This is the Bollywoodest of all Bollywood action movies. It is so over the top and ridiculous and absurd that it spins around and becomes awesome. It's absolutely fantastic. And if there is ever a new James Bond, obviously they're doing a new James Bond, but if they ever want to go a little bit outside of the box, one of the Indian actors in here is a perfect James Bond. I mean, he's like James Bond in this movie, only, Bollywood style. I mean, and it's based on a true story, which is hilarious because it has absolutely nothing to do with history, but it's based on historical people and their historical actions. It just totally takes it into fantasy land. It's a very, very fun movie. I recommended this to everybody that I know. It's just fabulous. It's hilarious. It's good. It's emotional, and it's got Bollywood action in it. So
noted. RRR, like the letter.
Yep, RR. It stands for, I forget what it stands for. React, Revenge, Revolt, or something like that. But it's RRR is what it's called, and I believe.
Was it rated RRR?
I'm sure it probably was. It actually was nominated for Best Foreign Movie for the Academy Awards, and it won for Best Song Presentation in a Movie. There's a dance right in the middle of the movie. There's a dance sequence that's freaking hilarious, out of left field.
Law. That's the law, right?
Right. It's Bollywood. So, but it won an award for it. So it was great. I highly recommend it.
If they could do a pirate sequel called RRR. I'm so sorry. I'll show myself out now, and you can finish the show by yourself.
That joke fits totally with the whole movie, so that's fine.
All right, let's move along. Number 19 for me from 2011 is the Lincoln Lawyer, and I'm a big Michael Connelly fan. I love the TV show The Lincoln Lawyer. I love Bosch. I'm looking forward. Now we have they even have a Renee Ballard show they're doing. So all of the Connelly characters pretty much are slowly popping up on video and movies. But this was really this wasn't the first, because I think Clint Eastwood did the blood work or whatever. That was a Connelly. But this was the first to have Bosch or Mickey Haller, the lawyer. This was Mickey Haller with McConaughey, Matthew McConaughey. Right. And I mean, I think that the current actor, Ruffalo, I think, that plays Mickey on the TV show on Netflix, The Lincoln Lawyer, he's great. And he's much more like the book, because the book version of Mickey Haller is half Hispanic. His mother was like a Mexican showgirl that married the lawyer, the American lawyer. But so McConaughey ethnically is not right for the part, but but he does such a great job with it. He's so charismatic in the role and it's one of the better Lincoln Lawyer stories. So I really, really enjoyed Lincoln Lawyer from 2000.
It was a good movie. I didn't know that this was related to the Bosch universe at all. So I watched it, enjoyed it way back when, and now that I just listening to you talk about all the TV shows, I need to go back and start watching those TV shows.
Yeah, the Lincoln Lawyer show is really, really good, and it's just more long form TV version rather than a 2-hour story.
Right.
But you could take I wouldn't be surprised if they don't do a season of the show where they take this story and just stretch it out over like 8 episodes or something.
Yep. All right, so my next one is from 2007. It is Stardust.
Oh yeah,
based on the
Neil Gaiman.
Yeah, the Neil Gaiman novel, and it's a fantastic movie. It's got very early Superman. Henry Cavill is in it. He's one of the antagonists. It's got a very early Daredevil. Charlie Cox is in it.
Oh wow!
He is the main protagonist, and it's got what is his name? I am terrible with names.
I'm not any better.
Anyway, he plays a cross-dressing pirate, sky pirate, which is just funny.
Oh, De Niro,
Robert De Niro as a cross-dressing sky pirate. It's hilarious.
That's crazy.
It's got Strong. Tom Strong, is that it? Is one of the antagonists. I mean, it's a fantastic. Yeah, Mark Strong. It's just a fantastic, fun fantasy movie. I mean, it's got Claire Danes. Is one of the co-antagonists or protagonists. So yeah, it's a good fun fantasy fairy tale with a bunch of famous people popping up here and there, or people who would become famous, and well written, well acted. Just a really good. It's like the modern era Princess Bride.
Yeah, and I think it was influenced by Gaiman's appreciation of the Amber series by Roger Gillette.
Yes. Heavily. It is like the Muppet movie version of Amber. Yeah, it's hilarious. It's more than just a nod to Amber. You have all the siblings fighting for prominency and all that stuff, and it's really well done.
Good deal. I do remember seeing it years ago. All right, my number 18 might surprise some people who know me, yourself included, that it's this low. But again, there's just so many great movies that have come out in the last 25 years that all the way down at 18 from 2002, you find The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers.
Yep.
And it's because it's the dreaded middle chapter with no beginning and no ending. I just had an article published on Blackgate magazine about The Empire Strikes Back, and I got problems with that movie, and I laid them out for you people, as they say.
I mean, you're wrong, but that's fine. It's your opinion, so you're.
Well, the thing with The Two Towers, I think The Two Towers is a better middle chapter than Empire Strikes Back. But
yeah,
and the Battle of Helm's Deep is fantastic. But all the Treebeard stuff has always been my least favorite part of Lord of the Rings. It's the part I struggle to get through the most when I read the books, and I've read them many times. The way that they butchered the ending of The Two Towers in the theatrical version made me really mad. They left off a lot of things that needed to be there for it to make complete sense. In fact, including the main one, which is Faramir is like, "You're coming with us." The whole movie, Faramir is, "You're coming with us. You're coming with us. You're coming with us." And then Faramir's like, "No, y'all can go." What happened? And they don't make that clear in the theatrical cut. So I like the director's cut a lot better, but it's still all the way down at 18. At least it's on the list. So there you go.
Right. This one is also on my list. Unlike you, I loved the Two Towers more than the Return of the King. Fellowship of the Ring is my favorite of the movies because it's the one that hews closest to the source material.
Yes.
The Two Towers, things begin to drift. by the time we get to Return of the King, the drift is wide. So Return of the King, as fantastic as it is, and it's on my list as well, as fantastic as Return of the King is, I do like the Two Towers better. I'm going to put it just a little bit above Fellowship of the Ring, which is also on my list, mostly because Helm's Deep was, when I first read it as an 8-year-old, my most favorite fantasy sequence scene of all time. And I still love the Battle of Helm's Deep. I love rereading it every time I reread that book. It's just fantastic, and it was so well filmed. Even though they inserted the elves there, which I thought was a good decision, but like I said, they made changes. But I thought that scene in the movie was filmed wonderfully, and it's just such an epic moment in all of fantasy fiction to see that. This is a theme for me. To see something that I love brought to life on the big screen really has a big emotional impact for me, and this one was it for the Lord of the Rings movies.
Well said. I like it. All right, what's up for you next?
That was it. The Two Towers.
Oh, okay. All right, number 17 for me. And it's funny, there's a little quick story here, but my number 17 from 2009 is the Swedish version of The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. Mm-hmm. Now, I love the books. I think Lisbeth Salander is one of my top 5 protagonists of fiction in the last how many ever years. I have her up there with Parker and Iron Man and other favorite protagonists. But the thing was, I really liked the American version with Daniel Craig and I guess Rooney Mara,
something like that. And that's the one that I saw.
Yeah. Okay, it's really good. But then I had just seen the Swedish version with, and here we are with names again, but Noomi Rapace. The Swedish version has Noomi Rapace, who would go on to do Prometheus.
Okay.
For
yeah.
That did Ridley Scott. God, I'm having a hard time.
For those of us hearing us for the first time, we're both well into our 50s, so you're lucky that we even remember this stuff.
Who are you again?
Right.
No, all right. Let me kind of restate that. Yes, Noomi Rapace would go on to do Ridley Scott's Prometheus, the Alien prequel, sort of.
Right.
And she's great in that. But she plays a great Lisbeth Salander in The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo in the Swedish version. And they, unlike the American version, the Swedish version went on to make the other 2 movies.
Right.
And I've got the extended version. In fact, I need to drag those out. I haven't watched those in a while. I watched all the extended versions. You get like a 9-hour saga of her and Blomqvist. But
it's unfortunate that the author passed away, so because we won't get any more from this character.
Well, there's more, but he didn't write them.
Right.
There's others. In fact, there's even been another movie that was one of the copycats.
Really? I did not know.
Yeah, it's like the I can't even think what it's called, but they made a movie based on one of the books written by somebody else with the same characters. And it's got a different a different actor playing Lisbeth. And it doesn't have Daniel Craig, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But what I was going to get at, though, was I rewatched the American version recently, and as much as I like parts of it, I was really surprised how it isn't as clear. It leaves out a few key things that I'm like, well, dang. So I feel like if I'd only seen the American version and had not read the books or had not seen the Swedish version, I wouldn't have gotten as much out of it, and I would have been a little confused. So maybe that's just me. So anyway, I recommend the Noomi Rapace version, which is out there. It's on video. It's on DVD. I've got the box set of all the 3 extended versions of it. So that was my number 17.
I will have to look that one up. My next one up is going to be Godzilla -1 from 2023. And Van, I know you have issues with this movie because it's not the Godzilla you wanted.
That's right.
And it's not the Godzilla I was expecting, but man, was it a good movie. It was so tightly plotted and everything came full circle. And it was actually about the human characters. Godzilla was just a force of nature that they had to deal with. But for the minuscule budget, I mean, they filmed this movie on basically what the catering budget for a Marvel movie would be. I mean, they filmed it for $15 million, and it looks fantastic.
Including the special effects. They got that
including the special effects, right? And the special effects are great. But I thoroughly love this movie. I went to see it with my wife. We went to see that they did a Godzilla -1 color, so it was black and white like the original Gojira was. And at one point in time, and this is what sealed the deal for me, at one point in time in the movie, my wife actually jumped up, cheered, and did a fist pump. I mean, that's how into the movie she was. And she's not into giant monster movies. So
right.
to get that kind of reaction out of her, the movie had to really punch hard, and it did.
That's pretty good. No, I enjoyed it for what it was. I just preferred the big time Godzilla movies. I love the number 16 for me is another one that's dropped a little bit, not because of anything it's done wrong, just because there's so much competition. 2005, the follow-up movie to the Firefly series is Serenity. And this is this is the gang from the Serenity Firefly ship out on the frontier. It's basically space western. I think a lot of the best space movies are westerns, and that includes Star Wars.
A lot of the best movies are westerns. I mean, come on.
Sure. Yeah. But I think science fiction works best when presented as a variation on a western.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
And Serenity is a very good case of this. This is another kind of heist movie that turns into something else. And these all characters are great. It certainly helps if you've watched the Firefly series, but even still, it's great. And the thing that puzzles me about this movie is that it did not do well in theaters. And I understand it not doing well if everybody in the world thought, well, I had to have watched this obscure TV show that got canceled after a half a year. But you don't. It's just a really, really good action sci-fi movie. And yet somehow people didn't go see it. So,
I remember watching the series and watching the movie, and I liked it well enough. I wasn't a huge fan of the series. I thought it was a little too on the nose with the Western influences. I mean, they did a train heist with, 6-shooters and dusters and all that stuff. So, but I think the main problem with that is it was just so obscure. I mean, Firefly, the TV show, was not watched by many people at all. I mean, it was beloved by the people that did watch it. They absolutely loved it, but mainstream audiences had no clue what it was, and they just gave it. It wasn't marketed very well. There was no big space battles, there was no flashing laser swords or anything like that. And it didn't really look like a science fiction movie too much. I mean, they had spaceships in it, but I mean, a lot of it was on planet with Western attire and stuff like that. So yeah. I get why it didn't do well, and it's unfortunate because it was a fun series and it deserved better.
The one thing that it's not doing well in the theater did, though, was pipe down the brown coats a little bit, because at Dragon Con for like 3 years in a row, the brown coats, which was what they called the fans, were just so obnoxiously loud and so obnoxious in general. Yeah. And I'm like, I like the show, but you people are kind of ruining it for me. And then when the movie kind of flopped after they finally got their movie, they kind of shut up. And I'm like, okay, thank that's good. Settle down. That's all right. All right, what's next for you?
All right, next one up for me is Avatar from 2009. It wasn't the deepest or most sophisticated movie, but man, visually it was just eye-popping. It was just incredible, and the world building was really cool. The visuals were fantastic. The story wasn't a whole lot to it, but what was there, it was action-packed. I really had a ball with this movie. Haven't seen the most recent one, but I hear that changes a lot. But it as a standalone movie, I thought it was really cool. And it's the number one movie in the history of movies. So
this is true.
Yeah, I mean the guy knows what he's doing.
They got some of my money, and I'm like,
right,
yeah, okay. That's all I'll say. Number 15 for me, from 2006. This is a movie that's been on the rise, kind of on my list over the last couple of years. I've been trying to do a review show just about it for like a year and a half now. And I have 2 specific people I want to have on with me to talk about it for a very specific reason. And we can't all 3 get together. We've been trying for like a year and a half. We can't all get together. We're going to try again this year. And that is the 2006 Miami Vice movie with Colin Farrell and Jamie Foxx. The thing I love about this movie, I was never a big Miami Vice fan back in the day, back in the 80s. I've watched some of them on DVD, and they're okay. I get what it was doing, and I know that it was very groundbreaking for the time, but it was, But what I love about the 2006 version is it is a Michael Mann movie rather than TV show, and it just goes. It just goes from start. The theatrical cut, and I've seen both versions many times, but the theatrical cut cold opens in the nightclub with the two cops and their assistants closing in on a bad guy. There's no credits. There's nothing. It just cold opens on that, and you go straight roller coaster all the way to the end. I'll put it this way. I've seen this movie so many times, I understand the plot. And let's be honest, if you've seen this movie once or twice, did you understand the plot?
No, I saw it once and that was all I needed.
That's it. I know. I've seen it so many times to appreciate other things about it that I figured out the plot.
That's awesome.
And when we do the review show, I'll explain it.
I thought it was a fine crime movie, a good action buddy cop movie. To me, it wasn't Miami Vice. I loved Miami Vice like nothing else on TV. I thought it was absolutely fabulous, and it was so 80s. And the music, I mean, it was basically a music video with a cop story tossed in it. It was the music and the visuals and all that are what made the TV show great. And even though it was still done by Michael Mann, who did the TV show, it lost a lot of that. But it was a perfectly serviceable buddy cop movie.
But this movie was set in 2006. This was not.
Right.
This was not like the Starsky and Hutch movie or something where they made a joke. In fact, that's part of what I liked about it is they took it seriously and didn't, because everything from our era that you and I loved, when they bring it back, they always turn it into a joke.
Right. They turn it campy. Yeah.
Yeah. And this they took completely seriously. It was a product of its day, of 2006. And I love the cast. I love the story. I love the grittiness, everything about it. It's very similar to Heat in a lot of ways, which is another great action crime movie like that. So it's all the way up to number 15 and honestly could have been higher than that. All right.
And to be fair, the TV show was pretty gritty at times too, especially for, the early to mid 80s. It was,
on network television. Yeah.
Right. Totally. All right. Next one up for me is from 2010, Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Oh, that's a great movie.
Oh, yes. I love this movie. I was one of the few people that I know of that actually liked it. I mean, I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was hilarious. I mean, the way and it was very similar to the Speed Racer movie that came out around the same time. The visuals.
About that one too, yeah.
Yeah, the visuals. I mean, it made it feel like you're living in the real world, but it was like a video game going on around you. I mean, it had the power. It was a hoot from beginning to end. I thought the actors in it were fabulous. Some of them went on to greatness. Well, a lot of them did. You had Captain America, you had Superman, you had the one of the rebel captains from the Ahsoka movie or a TV show. It was just a lot of really cool stuff going on, and it was hilarious and funny and visually stunning.
It's starring the kid from Arrested Development.
Right. Yeah, who also did what else? Oh, he did a bunch of movies.
He does other stuff too. Yeah, he was just in this the what you call it plot or whatever it's called, the latest. Yeah, I would go ahead and add that one on to my honorable mentions. I really enjoyed that movie a lot. Good film. All right, number 14 as we continue working our way up to number 1. This is the first of the 5 Marvel or Bond movies I've had to incorporate into my list. 2006's Casino Royale. It is the hands down the best Daniel Craig James Bond movie, easily to me. And it is in my top 5 James Bond movies. Casino Royale is great. It is a great Bond movie.
It is.
And I'm not even a big Daniel Craig Bond fan. I like Craig and other things he's done, but I don't generally like his Bond as much. I didn't like Skyfall. This is all documented, by the way. Go into the archives of the White Rocket podcast and you can hear. In fact, Andy, I meant to mention this. over the course of this year, the White Rocket podcast will be presenting all of the reviews that Ian Fleming Foundation President Alan J. Porter and I have done of the entire James Bond movie series. Those will be popping up about one a month starting this month. So yeah, check those out. So Casino Royale, just a gritty change in direction for a more modern Bond in 2006. I don't like Daniel Craig that much as Bond, but this is a great movie and I can't deny it.
Right. The newest Bond movies kind of lost me when they went away from the, I don't want to call it campy, but all the gadgets and the over the top villains and stuff like that. So I liked them well enough, but they were very gritty and they're a little too realistic for my taste.
Yeah, they definitely took that turn, but
yeah.
But this is the one that actually makes sense.
Right. All right. The one up for me, I'm going to say 2013's Pacific Rim, the giant robots versus giant monsters movie. Absolutely ridiculous movie, but it was so much fun. Watching that again live on the big screen. I've always loved the rubber costume Godzilla movies. You know, they were just fabulous. But to see this with, you know, the high end special effects and the giant robots kicking monster booty, it was fun. And they didn't take themselves too seriously. They had fun with it too. You know, the writers and the actors, and it was just a hoot from beginning to end. I mean, the scene where the robot was dragging the container ship through the streets of Tokyo or wherever and use it as a baseball bat against one of the monsters was hilarious, you know, physically impossible, but just so, I mean, that was another stand up and cheer moment. It was just fun.
You know, if only somebody would write a series of novels about giant robots versus giant monsters.
Right.
Oh, wait.
I bet it could win an award or something.
I bet it could. Validus V on Amazon. I'm actually currently working on, I had to set it aside for a little bit because I'm working on Monaco Heist, but I've currently got my giant robot versus giant monster novel sequel on hold, working on my third heist book. So yeah, it's called Validus V on Amazon. There you go. Thank you for that. Let me get that.
I will say that it's fabulous and one of my favorite Van Allen Plexico novels. It's just so much fun.
Thank you so much. Well, I appreciate that more than you know. Thank you. All right, my number 13 is the second movie that's been pulled over from the James Bond and Marvel list, and I had to figure out where it would slot in. And you'd have thought this movie would be higher, but I had issues with it, and I still do. But the fact that this movie exists at all is a celebration, lifetime celebration for me, and that is 2012's Avengers. I dreamed my entire life. I discovered the Avengers in 1976, 77, and dreamed my whole life of seeing a movie with them, and we got it. And I have issues with some of it, but it's really good. It could have been so bad, and it was so good.
Right.
So it makes all the way up to number 13 on my list.
That one is also on my list for the exact same reasons. Growing up, being a big fan of the Avengers, of Thor, Captain America, Iron Man, the whole 9 yards, to see them in live action on the big screen again was phenomenal. I mean, they had the SHIELD helicarrier. That is not something I ever thought I would ever see on the big screen. And it was every bit as awesome as it should be. And seeing, oh man, I could go on and on. Just seeing Thor in action with Iron Man and Captain America just doing their stuff. I too had issues with it, you know, but you know, the big climactic third act is just mind-boggling, eye-popping fun. So great movie.
And then at the very end, I believe we see Thanos for the first time, right?
Yes.
In the post-credit sequence, and then I was just on the floor.
Right.
I was just in a puddle on the floor.
Yep.
So, yeah, couldn't have been.
All those early Marvel MCU movies had the same visceral impact on me. The post-credit scene, I think it was in Thor when they started talking about the Avengers Initiative and all that stuff. I mean, those early MCU movies were just a visceral punch in a good way. You know, it was awesome.
Yeah. And okay, you go ahead. What's your next one?
That was my next one. The Avengers.
Okay. Yeah, right. I want to go ahead and add. I want to retroactively add to my honorable mentions Guardians of the Galaxy. I didn't mention it, and it's not on my list, but I'm going to edit. 2014, just because there's a lot about it I don't like, but there's so much about it that I love. You know what I mean? It's one of those movies that there's enough holding it back to not make my top 25 list, but there's enough in there that I'm like, oh, I'm so glad this movie exists. Right?
Yeah,
mostly Rocket.
I have issues with that movie and the introduction of the goofiness into the MCU, but it was a good fun movie.
I don't like the ending. I don't like the resolution, winning a
dance
contest. It fit the proceedings. It fit.
It did.
But I wish it hadn't fit. You know what I mean?
Right. And that was one of the issues I have was it took just an awesome character, Ronan the Accuser, and turned him into a joke. You know, that Taika Waititi took that to the extreme with his MCU Thor movie. It just
there's no question. Yeah, I'm gonna say there's no question the weak link in a lot of the Marvel movies have been the villains,
right?
Because I think there have been 3 that have emerged as could stand toe to toe as characters with most of the heroes, and that's Loki, obviously, Thanos, and the Kingpin. Those 3 are as good as any villain, as good as any heroes in terms of good characters. I would say every other villain in all the Marvel movies just doesn't measure up to the heroes. They you know, when you don't have a good challenge, you know, like Spider-Man has good villains, Batman has good villains, but most of the Marvel characters just don't really have the MCU, not counting Spider-Man. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
Well, continuing that theme, number 12 for me is my favorite Avengers movie and my second favorite MCU movie, I believe. No. We still got one more to go. My third favorite, and that is from 2019, the big finale, Avengers Endgame. I don't think it's as good as the setup in Avengers Infinity War, as we'll see in a little bit, but it's still, I mean, you can't look at everything that happens in Avengers Endgame and not just say, good Lord, this was a fantastic achievement, mind-boggling, the end of a gigantic journey, and just it's like the end of the fireworks thing when they just light the whole rest of the fireworks off at one time and set everything off at once. So it's not in my top 10, but I mean it's number 12 of everything ever released this millennium, so that's pretty good.
Yeah. That's going to be my next movie too, is Avengers Endgame. I am the opposite from you. I liked it much better than the Avengers Infinity War or whatever the other one was called. I actually didn't like that movie very well. I thought it was just kind of meh, but this one was not only a fantastic movie, but it made the previous movie better. I really enjoyed Endgame for all the reasons you said. It was the culmination of 24 or 22 movies and over a decade of filming. And it was a phenomenal achievement, and it deserves to be on anybody's list of greatest movies of at least the century, if not of all time, because of what it did accomplish.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. All right. Number 11 for me. And this is a movie that was in my top 10 for a very long time, but is only now. Well, you know, part of the reason it's gotten knocked down is having to bring the Marvel stuff over. So that's done a little bit to it. And there have been a couple of other movies recently that have come up and knocked it down. But my number 11 is Master and Commander, The Far Side of the World from 2003. Came out the same year as Return of the King, was the big challenger for Return of the King in the Oscars, lost everything but like one thing.
Right.
Every head-to-head battle it went with Return of the King, it lost. And that's unfortunate because I was happy for Return of the King at the time, but I love this movie too. And I've always said Master Commander is like the best Star Trek movie ever made.
Well, Star Trek was based off of that series of books, so my friend, au contraire, you'd think that, but it's not. Because the first Master and Commander book came out in 1970. So what? Oh, I'm thinking of
Hornblower.
Yes. You're right.
Yeah. I was gonna say it seems like it. You would think,
right?
But actually, this is newer than Star Trek. But it is a great,
fascinating. Yeah.
But I mean, Dr. Matron is basically Spock and McCoy at the same time, and Aubrey is a serviceable Kirk. And the only complaint I have, it is a great streamlined movie, but I have 2 complaints. One, they used Peter Weir, the director, strip mined all the books for their best moments to cram
Right.
into this one movie, like knowing
Right.
he's never going to do another one. And so they burned a lot of stuff that could have been used in the sequels if they ever had
Yep.
made them. And number two, this movie, we only see Aubrey and Maturin mostly on ship. And it's well established in the books that when they're on ships, Aubrey is the man, and Maturin doesn't know what he's doing, and all occasionally falls overboard or whatever. Right?
Right.
Has no clue about the. He tries to talk. He's like, "Well, the mizzen, whatever." They're like, "Doctor, just don't."
All right.
But here's the thing: in the books where they're on land, Aubrey is a bumbling idiot who loses all of his prize money from the ships, and Maturin is like James Bond. He's a secret spy and assassin. So you don't get the other side of those characters in this movie, which is disappointing. Plus the wives, they both have really cool wives too.
Yeah.
Pop later, so that's the only thing. But for what it gave us, I thought it was very, very good.
I agree. It's not on my list, but it did make my honorable mentions. But yeah, my two biggest issues with this movie are there were no sequels. I mean, I know that's hardly a failing of the movie, but it pissed me off.
Yeah, me too.
And the main antagonist in the movie was a French ship, whereas in the book it was an American ship. But they couldn't sell that to American audiences, so I can see why they did it. But
at least they gave us credit for building the ship.
Right? Yeah, that was the whole thing. Was the Americans built this ship that could outrun anything, and suddenly the French have it now. But yeah, it was a very good movie. I was just very disappointed that we never got more because I love the books too.
Oh, absolutely. They're right here behind me. If for those that don't realize, the Acheron, the French ship that they fight in this movie, is like bulletproof, cannonball proof, because it was supposed to be from the old Ironsides, the USS Constitution class,
right?
Built with that American wood and like double layered and everything. And so but yeah, there's no way that American audience was cheered for the British against an American ship in the War of 1812. So but the French, everybody likes the French as villains. So I thought
second best European villains after the Germans.
There you go. But they all sound British. Go figure. All right, what's next for you?
Let me see. Next one for me, I'm going to go with I did that one. We're going to go with 2015, the greatest action movie ever put to film, Mad Max Fury Road.
Oh, there's another ought to be on my honorable mention.
Yeah, I was surprised I didn't see that anywhere on your list because
you're right.
I remember you enjoying this movie, but this movie, it's set in a really cool universe, the Mad Max universe, but the filming, what they were able to put on film was just astounding. The action sequences were more elaborate and more exciting than anything that's ever been filmed before. And it was all done without computer animation. There's like a couple scenes where they had to, touch up the background to change the background. But what they were able to accomplish with the stunt work and all that stuff was just astounding. Story be damned. I mean, I don't care about the story. It's a Mad Max movie. It's a big car chase with explosions. And the cars they hand built all these cars. These cars were fabulous. The big monster truck that was the center of the movie was just so freaking cool. It's on my Lego wish list. There's an MOC Lego version that's for like $400. Fits all the it's like 3 feet long, fits the minifigures, the whole 9 yards. But it's ridiculous. But it was just a phenomenal achievement. And the story turned out to be, for what there was of it, fun. So it was great. I haven't seen the follow-up or the prequel to this one. So Furiosa, I think it was called.
That's really good.
Yeah, I heard it was really good. But no, this is one of my all-time favorite movies and absolutely my favorite action movie of all time.
Wow. Nice. Okay. When I first saw it in the theater, I didn't like it that much. And I was actually like running it down a little bit. And then I went back and saw it when it came out on video, and I'm like, okay, I get it now. I just was in the wrong mindset. It happens. But
right.
Seeing it the second time, it kind of clicked for me, and I really appreciated it, enjoyed it a lot more. So, all right, Andy, we are to the home stretch. We are to the top 10. We are to the top 10 movies of this century, this millennium, the top 25 to 25. And my number 10 is Brad Pitt's 2014 World War II movie. I like the World War II movies. Fury. Brad Pitt is a tank commander in Germany in World War II at the very end of the war. and it's just fantastic. You've got Brad Pitt is always good when he's this kind of a character, when he kind of gets to boss people around and all.
Right.
And he's kind of like the father figure to his crew. He also kind of keeps them in line. You could see this bunch if they survive. If they survived, you could see this bunch like going and becoming like a heist crew or something almost.
Right,
So it's almost like a Parker movie.
Kelly's Heroes.
Yeah, exactly. So I really, really love this movie, and I occasionally show it in my U.S. at War American Military History course, just to give them a fun, World War II movie.
It is a fun movie for sure. I enjoyed it. It was a little heartbreaking there towards the the middle and the end, but
there's some dark stuff in it for sure.
Yeah. Anytime you watch a more realistic World War II movie, you come to realize and appreciate how insane it was and how brave those men had to be to do what they did. It's just, it's heartbreaking and astounding at the same time. My next one up is going to be John Wick from 2014. Like I said, we mentioned earlier, it set up the whole. This one goes back and forth between John Wick and John Wick Chapter 2, because this one sets up the whole world. That's just absolutely fascinating. It's almost like an anime crime world. It's over the top. It's ridiculous, but at the same time, it's gritty and realistic. I mean, it's just it's so intricate. They're the social hierarchy in the interactions that they have with each other, and Keanu Reeves is just perfect as the main character. A lot of people say he doesn't have much range. He never needs to have range because he's always playing just a complete and he is an unstoppable force of nature in this, but at the same time he gets his butt kicked all the time. I mean, he's by the end of this movie he's limping, he's bloody, he's a mess. I mean, that last scene with the when they're playing, tag with the cars and he just gets totally knocked around and everything. It's over the top. It's crazy, but it's also very emotional and you believe in the character, the main character, John Wick. I mean, his motivation is the dog, somebody kicked my dog. So, I mean, and then it just blows up from there. It goes, like I said earlier, this one leads to the next one. Like the very next scene is the first scene of the next movie, and it just continues on all the way to Chapter 4. Just a great series, and I had to put at least one of them on this main list just to honor that.
Yeah, come back. Absolutely true. I love all four. I really do. And they're neat. They're different in different ways. I actually kind of like I like that there are different types of villains in each one.
Yes.
You've got the kid from Game of Thrones in the first one as the Russian son that that's a punk, and you got the I think is it Ruby Rose is in the third one maybe as the lady that comes to like check up on him or whatever and. Oh, great!
Oh, yeah, it's just all of his allies and the villains in there are just, and some of them are both. It's just really cool. The like I said, the whole social interactions with everybody's great.
That's it. All right, number 9 for me is 2014's, and I believe this is the next to last Marvel or Bond movie on my list. 2014's Captain America: Winter Soldier. This is. It's always been promoted as this is Captain America as a 70s paranoid political thriller, like 3 Days of the Condor. But for me, it was way more than that. For me, it just works on every level. And I think that I've always said the first Captain America movie and the first Avengers movie, I was not sold on Chris Evans. I was just not. He was okay. I was not sold on him. In Winter Soldier, Chris Evans comes into his own as Steve Rogers, Captain America, and from this point on, I had no doubts he had become Captain America. And Black Widow is great in this movie too.
Right. Well, I believe this was the first of the Russo brothers movies.
I think so.
Yeah, the writing was exponentially better than the previous. This is when the whole MCU came into its own because it gave. Yes. It gave Chris Evans so much more meat to work with, and same with Scarlett Johansson. They could show. I mean, both of them are world class actors. They're not just action movie heroes. They were good actors before and after, and to have them with actual material that they could sink their teeth into, it leveled up the entire MCU.
No, I agree. No, absolutely. And plus it has that other stuff going for it too.
Right.
And you
Oh
got
yeah.
really good. You got a good Nick Fury in it. You got
Yep.
Bucky in it for the first time.
Yeah.
The Falcon introduce of Sam.
Yep.
I mean, just everything about this movie. We even got Arnim Zola, which I
Right.
just couldn't believe was so great. I love Arnim Zola. All right, what's up for you next?
I'm going to go with Captain America: Civil War. I thought this was the second best Avengers movie. It was just, and it was set up by everything that happened in Winter Soldier, and of course Avengers 2. But this was just a fantastic action movie. But again, it had Sam Wilson is one of my favorite superheroes of all time. I've always been a fan of, because when I started reading Captain America comic books, it was called Captain America and the Falcon. I mean, they were partners. So to see those two together on screen, and kicking butt, and it introduced Spider-Man to the MCU, and it showed Ant-Man becoming Giant Man, and it just had so much fun, awesome stuff in it that it was like I said, it was a great Avengers movie and a great Captain America movie, and just a fun movie all around.
Wow. Yeah. Oh, I agree. Number 8 for me is Lord of the Rings: Return of the King. And I've never quite understood why I don't have this one just a little higher, maybe, or something, but because it is spectacular. It doesn't really put a foot wrong, particularly the director's cut, the extended edition. The theatrical version I have issues with, but they fixed everything that I had a problem with in the extended version. I didn't need the scouring of the Shire. It was fine. That was anticlimactic. I thought they did everything just fine with it. In fact, I think that by not doing the Shire being taken over by Saruman at the end, it allows for one of the greatest moments in the entire trilogy, which is that the hobbits don't have any idea anything bad has been going on. Right? It's like we talked about in our Babylon 5 show, getting back to Earth. Yep. They don't know the Shadow War happened. They get back to the Shire. The Shire doesn't know that. And they come in wearing their fine clothes and their armor, and everybody get excited about Fatty's pumpkin.
Right.
Everybody's like, "Ooh, the pumpkin," and they're all just sitting there like, "Okay, we're not, we're chopped liver," and that you wouldn't have gotten that if you'd had the scouring of the show.
100%. And what's so funny is Return of the King had enough endings. I mean, it didn't need another.
It didn't need another one.
Right. It did need another one. But yeah, it's my next movie on my list as well. It was a great movie. It was a culmination of, again, one of the things I grew up loving, and to see it put on the big screen was incredible. I do have issues with it. I didn't like the scrubbing bubbles at the end of the Battle of the Pelennor Fields.
That was the absolute worst.
Yeah.
That was terrible. What were they thinking?
I have no idea.
Let's explain the audience what we're talking about, because
Okay.
you know this is when Aragorn brings the army of the dead in.
Mm-hmm.
If they had come in and fought like slightly more supernatural versions of regular soldiers,
Right.
I'd have been fine.
Right.
They come in and act like they could have won the entire battle by themselves at any moment. Had they shown up 10 minutes earlier, everybody would have been fine.
Yep.
They were in 2 seconds.
Right.
They were not that powerful, and they shouldn't have been portrayed.
It was just another army in the battle in the books. I mean, it was a slightly, like you said, slightly supernatural. They were spectral, but they weren't superhero. They weren't super powered magical creatures that could just scrub the battlefield clean. That just totally eliminates all the heroism and awesomeness of the battle that came before it. So,
absolutely right. 100%.
That said, the Battle of the Pelennor Fields was another epic fantasy moment seen brought to life on screen with the Oliphants and there's just so much awesome stuff that I can go on and on about that movie. It's a great movie. It's a great book. There are just that scrubbing bubbles scene just irked me so much. I was just like, oh, come on.
Yeah, so, it really did. No, I agree. But yeah, everything else about it. And they went back and in the extended edition, they added we needed that confrontation between the Witch King and Gandalf that was left out of the theatrical cut. We needed the death of Saruman, or the where he had they show they completely taken that out of the theatrical cut.
Right. Yeah.
There's so many important things that had to be taken out of the theatrical cut of that movie that the extended vision yeah.
Gandalf versus the Witch King was one of my favorite moments of any. Again, another set piece in the fiction that was just it shaped my entire understanding and love of fantasy fiction. I mean, I have there was a Lord of the Rings calendar. The centerpiece, the double page spread centerpiece, was a painting of that scene, and it's hanging on my wall to this day. You know, for the past 45 or 6 years, I've had that hanging on my wall. It's a gorgeous piece of fantasy artwork, and it depicts one of the greatest scenes in fantasy fiction.
Absolutely. Do you have, let's see, your turn?
Nope, I agreed. I also had Return of the King. Yep.
All right. Number 7 is a 2025 release, but of a 2003 pair of movies glued back together. And that is Kill Bill, The Whole Bloody Affair.
Yep.
And I can legitimately put it on here as one movie because I saw it as one movie at the theater a couple of weeks ago. They released it as one long movie with a little intermission in between. I had Kill Bill 1 as my favorite Tarantino movie, and it was in my top 25 or whatever all-time movies. But seeing the two together, seeing the whole thing all the way through was just so much fun and so good. And it also, when you watch them separately, it is interesting. There's a totally different flavor to the first movie and the second movie. The first movie is a series of challenges that the bride goes through, you know, from Vernita Green to Orishi,
Oshi Ichio, yeah, whatever her name is, yeah,
working her way up,
right.
Whereas the second movie is all kind of maneuvering around to get to Bill,
right.
And when you see it all as one movie, it works better because you're not seeing like a rise and fall of the story. You're just seeing kind of the roller coaster from start to finish, and it mentally it just works better for me. Yes, it's 5 hours long, but it's a good 5 hours. It doesn't feel like it.
That's how it was originally conceived, written, and filmed as one long movie, but they made him cut it, so he had to re-edit it to make it two separate movies. Yeah. I did not have that one on my list because I haven't seen the combined version, and individually, both movies, while good, weren't good enough for me to make the list. Because for that reason I just mentioned, it was one movie literally cut into two. I'm sure once I do get to see the combined version that it will jump right up very highly on this list.
I love the first one, but this made the second one way better for me.
Gotcha.
By giving it all that fun stuff right before it. You know what I mean? It makes it flow better. All right. What's your next one?
All right. Next one for me, I'm going to say 2008's Appaloosa.
Oh,
that was a fantastic Western. And I love Westerns. I'm just a huge fan of cowboy fiction, from books to comic books to TV shows to movies. I'm sure if there was a Broadway Western, I'd go see it. And this was a great Western. I mean, it was realistic and gritty. It wasn't like the singing cowboys of the 40s and 50s. And it wasn't the bloodless gunfights of the 60s and 70s. It was the gunfights were bloody and brutal and realistic, but it was a really well-written story. And the two main actors, I'm going to completely blank on their names, but the two main protagonists, wasn't one Viggo Mortensen?
Yeah, Viggo Mortensen is Hitch.
And
Everett Hitch.
Ed Harris?
Ed Harris is
the sheriff.
Virgil Cole.
Right. They were so great together, and they played off each other so well, and they were so well portrayed on film. It was a great, enjoyable movie. I loved it.
I am just at the beginning of my journey here. I just saw Appaloosa for the first time about 2 weeks ago and was astonished how much I loved it. It was so good.
Yep.
Then I found out it's based on a Robert Parker novel. So I'm like, well, maybe I should get the novel. But then I found out it's basically they filmed the novel. The novel is like the screenplay. There's no difference really.
Right.
And so then I found out there are 10 more books. So I got number 2. And in fact, Robert Parker wrote 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then he passed away.
Yeah.
And 5 through 11 have been written by another writer. But guess what? It's the guy that wrote the screenplay of this movie.
Right.
So he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
So I have just read number 2, and it picks up All right, the spoiler here. The Appaloosa ends with Hitch going off into the sunset. Okay, the second book picks up with him arriving at his new. It just picks right up like an hour later.
Yep.
And it carries on from there. And so I've ordered the third book, and I'm waiting for it to get here from Amazon right now.
This is the best adaptation of a Parker novel.
Yeah. Now we have to say Robert Parker, not Parker the Thief. That's two totally different.
Right. Two different things. Yeah.
Two different things.
Yep. Totally.
Yep.
But yeah, it's just a great movie, and I love it thoroughly. I haven't read I've only read the first two books. I haven't read the additional books.
Yeah, I'm waiting on number 3. It's too new for me to make this list, but I just added it to the bottom of my honorable mentions, and I have a feeling this is one of those movies that's going to make its way up as time goes by, because I'm definitely going to watch it again. And I just say that one of the things that's just delightful about it is the dialogue, is just the way these guys, they're just like, they'll be just sitting there like, yep. Everett, I've been reading some Rousseau. Rousseau, huh? Yeah. French philosopher. French? Yeah. Huh. That's the kind of, and it's great though. I mean,
it is.
You hear them being like that, and it's so good. All right.
A lot of the modern Westerns are very navel gazy and stuff like that. But this one is just as fun and just as cowboy as the original Westerns. It just takes it a little bit more seriously and doesn't go camp.
And then Renee Zellweger's character is the woman that pops into the middle of things. We didn't mention her, but she's a lot of fun too. And Jeremy Irons as the Old West villain guy.
Oh, he's perfect. Butch Cavendish through and through. It's just awesome.
Yeah, so good. All right, my number 6. And again, this is a movie I feel like almost should be higher. I love it so much. I said I'm a big heist guy. This is my highest rated heist movie from 2001. This may be the earliest movie on this entire list. Is Ocean's? Oh, it's not the. No, it's one of the 2 earliest on the list. Is Ocean's 11? George Clooney and Brad Pitt and Matt Damon and a cast of hundreds in a vastly improved remake on the Rat Pack movie from like 1965. I love a good heist, and this is a great heist. I mean, it's almost too complicated, the heist itself, but that's made up for by the fact that we love the characters and their motivations. And you have what's his name as the owner of the casino, that's the villain sort of, that's like romancing Julia Roberts, and you have the romantic, having all that whole character romantic thing on the side just enhances the whole story. And then Brad Pitt is the uber cool Rusty that's like by his side all the way through, just being a cool guy. He's always eating, which is always kind of funny to me to think about. Every time you ever see Rusty, he's eating. And then the supporting cast is so good, all from Casey Affleck all the way down. I mean, you have War Machine as like a British bomb maker guy. I mean, just everybody in it, and again, Julia Roberts is really good in it. In a movie that's very much a guy movie, she's a very good leading lady in it, and part of one of the prizes in a way, is like Clooney's trying to win her back as well as get all the money. So I just absolutely adore Ocean's 11.
If there's any actor that could do a modern day Rat Pack movie, it is George Clooney. I mean, he's perfect for the role. And it was a great movie for sure. All right, go ahead.
I was going to say they are kind of Newman and Redford, the two of them,
right?
But in this movie, they're almost more like Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great. My next one up is 2025's Fantastic Four.
Wow. Okay.
I am a diehard Fantastic Four fan, and I've been ultimately disappointed over the past couple of decades with the less than spectacular Fantastic Four movies. I never thought we would, and after the last debacle, I never thought we'd get to see a Fantastic Four movie. They've been downplayed in the comic book Marvel universe for the past decade. I never thought I'd get to see one, and this one got the characters perfectly. It got Galactus perfectly, finally, after the last one. It was action-packed. It was heartfelt. There was an emotional moment in this movie that almost brought me to tears right there towards the end. It did bring my wife to tears, which was kind of cool. I mean, I never thought she'd do that in a superhero movie, but
Right. Sure.
it was just a great movie. It was the Fantastic Four, again, going with that theme. It was the Fantastic Four brought to life on the big screen like never before, and I absolutely adored it. I know it gets banged on by the Fantastic Four fans and by the MCU fans sometimes, but I thought it was just absolute perfection.
I liked it a lot. I did. I liked it a lot. I had issues with it, but I thought that by focusing on Sue and having the Silver Surfer be female, and the movie becomes about mothers and motherhood on both sides, that was a strong narrative choice. I think it might have hurt it with the fanboys that wanted the Thing beating up people and Human Torch burning stuff up and zapping people and all that.
Sue, the characterization of Sue was always the weakest point in the early Kirby Lee comics, mostly because of Lee's narration. But seeing her and John Byrne went the other way and tried to make her, more a stronger character, but went the wrong direction with her at times. So I think this was the perfect balance between the two. It wasn't, grim and gritty. It wasn't, gosh, wild 60s. It was the perfect, feminist, yet still womanly and still superhero-y that you could get. And I thought it was great. And I thought it was fantastic, not to use a pun, that it was so motherly centric, because that is Sue's character. She is the mother to her children, and that is the most important thing. Family is the most important thing to her. So I thought it was great.
All right, let's see. What are we? Are you up to yours? That was yours? Okay,
that was mine. Yep.
All right, we're to the top 5. My number 5 from 2015 is The Revenant with Leonardo DiCaprio. I love this movie when I saw it in the theater. It made me freezing cold. It was like the middle of the summer, and I was wanting to get a blanket and a coat. It's just this gorgeous winter landscape of the West back in the 1800s. And on that canvas is painted this story of the father and the son and the really nasty villain and the fur trappers in the old West and everything. And just a great story. It's based on a story called The Long Crawl of Jonas, whatever his name was, of Hugh Glass, the Long Crawl of Hugh Glass. And Roger Zelazny did a version of it. And then there's a book that's a version, and I did a sci-fi version of it.
And but, that's based on a true story, isn't it? Or is it not? Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. So where he gets basically the famous grizzly bear scene is just really the beginning, and then from that point he has to recover to go get. It's just a revenge tale. It's an absolute get your bloody revenge. It's kind of like Kill Bill in that way. Yep. Very much. Good movie. It's beautiful. Just a beautiful. The atmosphere and the cinematography are astounding in this movie. Yes, absolutely. All right, back to me. Yes. My next movie is going to be that other 2025 superhero movie with Superman. Yes. This was the DCEU or whatever they're calling it for the past however long. I have not been impressed with. But with and I'm not a huge James Gunn fan. But in this movie, he did something that nobody has done with Superman before and put him in a comic book universe, a comic book universe, not a grim and gritty comic book universe, and not as the only super. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love the Donner Superman movies. But this one made it part of a much larger superhero infused universe. And I thought it got the character perfectly. It made Superman. He was the big blue Boy Scout, but he was also, smart enough and down to earth enough to come across as real. But he was still, it was just great. It was so much fun to watch. The movie was well plotted. The best Lex Luthor, put to screen yet. It was good on every level. The special effects were great. It was a lot of fun. Crypto. Excuse me. Crypto, right? How can we forget Crypto? Crypto was hilarious. But to see some of the awkward, unusual characters brought in, which is James Gunn forte. He takes characters that are not mainstream characters and that he brought them into the movie and made them cool. Like Guy Gardner's Green Lantern.
Yes.
He's like the fourth string Green Lantern from Earth. I mean, but they made him fun. They made him an integral part of the movie. Hawk Girl, she's super cool.
Mr. Terrific stole the movie.
Right. He was my favorite, and from For All Mankind.
Yes.
Yeah, but yeah, he totally.
He's the Elon Musk character on For All Mankind.
Right.
Yeah.
And there he's the evil inventor. In this movie, he's the good guy inventor. But he did steal the movie. It was a race between him and Crypto. But yeah, he was great. So it was, and the most beautiful Lois Lane ever.
I was gonna say having Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane was sealed the deal for me. Right. I was like, Crypto, I'm in 100%, but having the great Mrs. Maisel.
Yeah,
I love the marvelous Mrs. Maisel. That was a wonderful show, and she just absolutely made that show rock. So,
yep,
very good. All right, we're to the top 4.
Yep.
My number 4 is the last of the Marvel movies for me, and my favorite so far, Infinity War, Avengers Infinity War from 2018. And the thing I love so much about this movie is if you just turn it on and watch like the first 20 minutes from the very beginning, when you get this incredible team up. You get Iron Man, Wong, Doctor Strange, and Bruce Banner. And I never would have dreamed that those 4 characters together would be so entertaining. But Doctor Strange versus Tony Stark is hilarious.
It is.
And then having Bruce there and Wong has some funny lines, you know, and the 4 of them, and then Spider-Man shows up, and they have that battle that goes all the way across New York with the Thanos' lackeys, you know. Mm-hmm. That whole sequence from the beginning and through that battle, through that opening battle between Iron Man, Doctor Strange, and Spider-Man versus Thanos' lackeys, that whole bit to me is the pinnacle of the MCU for me. Because we knew those characters so well by that point that they could just exchange a look and you knew exactly what they were thinking and what they were saying. So I love Infinity War, and it sets up Endgame so great. So it's my number 4 movie of this century.
You know what? I enjoyed the movie. I thought the scenes individually, the scenes were great. As a story, as a whole, it was all set up. I mean, it was just setting up the next movie. So as a standalone movie, I didn't enjoy it as much, but as part of the duology with Endgame, it's great. Yeah.
All right, you got 3 or 4 left. What do you got?
I got 3 left. Next one up for me is 2018's Black Panther, one of my favorite MCU movies. And I'll have to disagree with you. This villain in this movie goes right up there with all the other top villains.
I forgot about him, but I'll allow it. I'll allow it.
Thanks. I thought it was just a really cool movie. It harkened back to the Jack Kirby Black Panther. It had all the high tech stuff. It had all the different civilizations brought in, all the different cultures, I guess. Of it wasn't just a homogenous Africa, generic Africa. It had all the different tribes and all the different all their cultures and everything. It made one of the kind of most racist supervillains into a likable character with I forget his African name. In the comic books, he was the ape man, which I thought was horrible. Even as a kid, I'm like, you can't really say that. But
or the man ape, but
ape. That's right, the man ape.
Worse.
right.
Even worse.
So, but I loved him in the movie. But the actual villain in this movie was a Killmonger, I think his name was the most.
Yeah.
He was the most one you can identify with. You can most understandable villain. I mean, you can understand why he turned to villainy, and sympathetic almost. With his cause was almost sympathetic. You can see. I mean, he was like the flip version, the other side of the coin to Black Panther. I mean, you can understand why he was doing what he was doing. Didn't necessarily agree with his methods, but you understand what set him off and what he was working towards. So I thought he was a great villain. Chadwick Boseman as T'Challa. Oh, what else can you say? I mean, he was born to play that character, and he made that character more than anything he ever was in the comic books. So it was just the perfect storm. Everything came together to make a great movie, and it was directed by a black director, so he got what the characters were. I mean, he put his own stamp on them,
Yeah.
But Jack Kirby created the Black Panther in the 60s. Jack Kirby was very progressive and wanted to have representation in the comic books. He got, downplayed a lot. He, before, when he originally designed him, he had a mask that was, the cowl was open so you could see his skin. They wouldn't let him do that. They urged him not to, take off his mask in the Fantastic Four comic books, the whole 9 yards. But Jack Kirby was very progressive, and I forget the director's name. I can't. Yes, he took that to the next level and made it more not just representation, but made it the focus of the whole movie. And I thought, just watching everybody going to see that movie, all the African Americans going to see that movie and coming away saying, "Wow, that was us on screen." It was more than just representation. It took it to a whole new level, and it was awesome. I loved watching it. I loved the whole cultural effect it had. It was just a great movie.
It was a great movie. I agree. Down to top three. My number three, and this is a movie that I've constantly asked myself, should I move it up even higher? In fact, it's number 4 on my all-time list. Number 3 when you take away stuff before 2001. And that is The Kingdom of Heaven Director's Cut from 2005. My favorite Ridley Scott movie, my 4th favorite movie of all time, my 3rd favorite movie of this century. I love Kingdom of Heaven, the Director's Cut. As I always say, Director's Cut, not the mess that was the theatrical cut. This is one of those where they didn't take a finished movie and add extra scenes. Oh, no. The director's cut is the movie. The theatrical version, they took the movie and cut 45 minutes out of it. Imagine taking any great movie and cutting 45 minutes out of it and making sense of what's left.
Right.
But the director's cut is the actual original movie. It has all the characters and plot lines that are supposed to be in there that make it more than just a bunch of battles. It is a beautiful movie. I've reviewed it with Mark Busquette on the White Rocket show several years ago. I would just say, if you want to know more about it, go dig up my review from several years ago. It's in the White Rocket Entertainment Podcast archives. But we dug into all the illusions, the fact that the one that always sticks with me. This is a movie I showed in my religion class every year. The fact that the Hospitaller Knight may be an angel in disguise, and you figure that out as you go along. The fact that religions aren't good or bad in it. People are good and bad. There are good Christians and bad Christians. There are good Muslims and bad Muslims in it. And it's just a matter of who you are. At one point, Hospitaller says, what matters is what you do, whether you'll be a good person or not. And that really is the entire message of the movie. It's fantastic. And of course, it's got some great battles that look right out of Return of the King.
I went into that movie. I only saw the theatrical version until you mentioned the director's cut to me. And I was kind of left disappointed by the theatrical version. But when I went back and watched the director's cut, I totally see where you're coming from. It completely changed the movie for me.
Yes.
It made Orlando Bloom's character much more palatable, more understandable of his progression from, just some dude who couldn't even swing a sword to fighting in these big battles. But I will say that the battle scenes were pretty spectacular, for sure.
Absolutely.
All right.
2 to go, right?
I have one more to go.
Oh, okay.
I think I have just one more to go. No, I also have 2 more to go. So I'm going to go with, because I know this one is not on your list, Yesterday from 2019. This was the movie about the guy that got knocked in the head and woke up in an alternate universe where the Beatles never existed.
Yeah. We saw this in the theater and I really enjoyed it, but then I totally forgot about it. Okay.
Yeah. You know me, I'm a huge Beatles fan. And this movie was like a love letter to the Beatles. I mean, it was just gorgeous. It was hilarious. It had Beatles music throughout, and it showed what, if the Beatles were to happen today, it would show how their impact would be. And then it showed through all the alternate universe things that were missing, that he was so amazed about. It shows the cultural impact that the Beatles had on our real timeline. I mean, it was super cool just to see everything. And very few times have I ever been brought to tears in a movie theater, but when he went to visit John Lennon on the seaside, in this movie, in this reality, John Lennon never became a super famous songwriter and one of the greatest, pop artists, rock and roll artists of all time. He was just a dude that lived by the sea. And he sought him out and he talked to him, and John Lennon was still alive because he wasn't, murdered in 1980. And it was just so touching and dramatic and cool, but funny at the same time. It was just a great movie. I watch it all the time. It's the movie. It's the movie I've seen on my list probably more often than anything else.
That's interesting. Yeah, Amy and I watched it and really enjoyed it back when it came out. She's a bigger Beatles fan. I'm not really a Beatles fan, but I appreciated it. I enjoyed it for what it was.
I knew I liked her better for some reason.
My number 2 movie of the last 25 years, and my number 3 movie all time, the great Ready Player One. I love Ready Player One so much. I love the book. I've read the book about 12 times now. About once a year, I get it out and read it or listen to the audiobook of it with Will Wheaton doing the audiobook.
Yes.
Spectacular. I love the movie. I love the movie and the book about equally. I'm one of the few people that love them both equally. Some people like one, some people like the other. I've made the argument so many times, they don't have to be the same. It doesn't make one worse than the other, that they're not the same. In fact, I like that I get 2 different fresh stories rather than the same story twice. I appreciate that. And I appreciate that in the movie version, they use visual challenges that work better in a movie, because I did not want to watch Wade play Joust for 2 hours with a skeleton. That was not my idea of a good time. Watching the car race was way better than that, okay, with all the different cars. So I dearly love this movie. I think it's just a perfect movie. It has a beginning, middle, and an end. The characters are all lovable. I loved H in the book, but in the movie, I think H becomes my favorite character. She's so cool with her mail service post office truck,
right?
And her and the character that she plays in the Oasis as the big muscle guy, that's so cool, that's so much fun. Wade's buddy. I love Artemis in the movie so much, and even the two Asian kids. In the movie, in the book, it's 2 Japanese young men, and one of them dies. But in the movie, it's a young Japanese boy and a Chinese little kid, and they both live. Thank goodness. So I like that better, that they both lived. Although it was an important movie. But anyway, I love all the characters. Even Sorrento, played by the Australian actor that's been in everything. Everything about that Ready Player One is just, it's lightning in a bottle. Steven Spielberg directed the movie, and it shows. It has that 80s sensibility. And the last thing I'll say, people criticize Ready Player One, both the book and the movie, as it's just a bunch of references. And if that's your takeaway, God bless. But I think it works just fine if everything in it was generic. The references to me don't matter at all. If they said this is like brand X video game we're playing, and this is, none of that really matters in the end. It's about the characters. What brand of video game or vehicle they're in, or robot or whatever. It doesn't matter. Who cares? They're cute references, but that's not the purpose.
I think that the references are cultural touchstones to let people be drawn in and engage with the movie and the book. I thought they were great. I thought it was, because when they say, I hop into the Millennium Falcon, you're like, yeah, that's super cool. Whereas if he would have said, I just hop into my spaceship, it's like, all right.
Right.
I thought,
but it's not about it being the Millennium Falcon.
No, it's totally not. Right.
It's added value.
Exactly. It enhances the story. I thought it was a fine movie. I love the book better. The movie is great. I have no problems with it. But that said, Joust is my favorite video game of all time. So if it had been just 2 hours of them playing Joust, I may have been the only person to go see it, but I would have gone to see it like 5 times.
That's fair enough. That's fair. I think I know what our last one is. Shall we say it?
Yes. I have a Hot Tub Time Machine.
That's not. No.
Fellowship of the Ring. The Lord of the Rings.
Number
the Fellowship
one.
Of the Ring.
the number one movie on the countdown for me, and it's on yours, is The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring, extended edition from 2001. What can we say about this movie, Andy?
It was Tolkien brought to life on the big screen. I mean, and they got rid of the Tom Bombadil, which is totally understandable. It was shoehorned into the book anyway.
Yes.
So I didn't miss it. It would have been fun to see. God, could you imagine Robin Williams as Tom Bombadil?
Oh God,
that would have been perfect.
Yeah,
but
as long as it wasn't Jim Carrey. Yes,
right. Yeah, but no. What can you say about it? It was just the perfect fantasy movie. I mean, so much of my childhood is wrapped up into that because I started. I was introduced to fantasy fiction through the Hobbit TV movie and the Return of the King, TV movie. And Dungeons and Dragons. When I played Dungeons and Dragons, it was always, so much like the Lord of the Rings books. To see this on screen was just, it was great.
It's the part of the story where the Fellowship is all together.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, from Rivendell until the Bridge of Khazad-dûm is the only time in all of Lord of the Rings that you have the 9 members of the Fellowship together.
Yep.
And going through Moria is my favorite part of all of Lord of the Rings.
I was just about to say that the whole scene in Moria is one of the ultimate fantasy fiction experiences for my life. I mean, it was just fantastic, and to see this on screen, and it was done so lovingly and so perfectly. I couldn't imagine it looking or feeling any different. I couldn't imagine any other actors in those roles. I mean, it was like you mentioned earlier, it's the perfect storm. I mean, everything brought together to make this movie just great.
Great. I'll mention that on the White Rocket Network, I think we've got videos here where we reviewed it. I think Bobby Nash and a couple other people and I, John Ringer, maybe reviewed it at the 20th anniversary in 2021, I think maybe. This is the 25th anniversary of it this year, 2026. There's also, I think we've done it several times in the podcast. So if you want more of me and other various people, not Andy, talking about these movies, then dig back into our archives and you'll find plenty. All right. I got a couple.
I got one thing to add real quick. Aragorn Strider is one of my all-time favorite fictional characters. I mean, just easily top 5, probably top 3. So I couldn't imagine anybody other than Viggo Mortensen in that role. I mean, he was absolutely spot on.
Perfect. I love it. Perfect. And he was a replacement. We almost didn't have him.
Right.
Came the last second.
Dougray Scott or something like that came in and filled.
It was the little blonde-headed guy from Interview with a Vampire.
What?
They were going to use a guy that was younger and littler and kind of play on the contrast that he looked younger but was way older. And it wasn't working. They said, we need more of a tough guy. We need more of a macho guy looking guy. And while Viggo Mortensen's personality is very calm and serene, he can play a tough, rugged guy. And that's what he does. He
played him exactly how I imagined Aragorn walking, talking, looking, and acting.
Deeply cool, calm, unruffled, sensitive soul, but yet a tough action hero at the same time. Just perfect.
Super competent and super confident. I mean, it was perfect.
All right. Quick questions and we'll get out of here. What movie on your list were you most surprised made your top 25?
The Kung Fu Hustle. I always loved that movie. And when like I mentioned earlier, I started out with 100 movies and I went through round after round of cuts. And when I made it to the final cut, I saw that Kung Fu Hustle was still on there. I was surprised, but I really loved that movie. It was just a great old school Shaw Brothers Kung Fu movie made with, the modern day sensibilities and special effects. And it was just a blast. But yeah, it surprised me because it's not a movie that I think of often when I, spout my favorite movies. But this turns out one of my favorite movies. Yeah.
Your subconscious has spoken.
Right.
I think for me, it would probably just be The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, Sweden, because that movie has never been on any of my lists before now. It just that I started thinking about the American version and I realized, you know what? Even though I wanted the American version to be successful, I think that the Swedish version was better and I just swapped them out. And there you go. So that's the one. What movie on your list have you watched the most times?
Oh, that's easy. That would be what is it? Yesterday. We watch that one all the time. My sister-in-law is a huge Beatles fan too, and this is one of her favorite movies. So whenever we have like the Thanksgiving or Christmas meetups here at our house, it's always on because I own the movie, so I just pull it up on my whatever it is, Apple Plus library, and we play it, and and the whole family loves it. It's just great.
That's a hard choice for me because I've shown Kingdom of Heaven in class several times, which is kind of cheating. And then I've watched Ocean's 11 a bunch. Mira, I think in the theater, Mira and I saw Ready Player One in the theater 6 times. And then I've seen Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring in the theater like 8 or 9 times, and then a bunch of times on video. So probably Fellowship of the Ring, but it's close. It's close. All right, let's see. What was the earliest movie on your list, and what was the most recent?
The earliest is Fellowship of the Ring.
Me too.
Yep. And then the most recent was Fantastic Four.
Yeah. I think Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring, and then for me, the most recent is, if you don't count Kill Bill, which, that's when they put them together, then Sisu in 2022.
Gotcha.
And finally, our last question, and we'll get out of here. What was your top movie just of 2025?
Top movie of 2025 was Fantastic Four.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
My top movie of 2025 was Predator: Badlands. Did not make my list, but it is a great, great movie. And I'll just say this for you. Watch Alien Earth on FX or Hulu. Watch the Alien Earth series, which was great.
It is.
And then as soon as you finish Alien Earth, watch Predator: Badlands, and they just
cool.
They fit together so well.
I didn't know that. That's awesome.
It's like when we watched Alien Earth, you're wondering, how did these idiots capture these creatures, right? How did they not just all get eaten on the planet where they got these creatures? This movie answers that question because it's the same universe and it fits together seamlessly.
I did not know that. That's awesome.
Really fun movie. Yeah.
All right.
All right. Any final thoughts, Andy, as we wrap up? I think this was fun.
It was fun. This was a lot harder than I thought it would be. I mean, I went through literally every movie, a list of every movie of every year for the past 25 years, and there were 15,000 movies on these.
Cow.
Yeah, that I went through. Now, most of them I could flip through real quick because it got into all the movies that made it like $1,000 at the movie theater for one weekend, and that's it. But no, it was extremely hard, but it was also extremely fun because I came across a lot of movies that I had forgotten, like Kung Fu Hustle, movies that I had forgotten that I loved, and I'm like, I'm going to have to watch that again. Now I'm going to have to watch RRR again because, good golly, that movie is so much fun.
Into it. Yep. Yeah, you talked me into it. Yeah, I'm sorry I gave you such a hard assignment, but I'm glad you pulled it off with aplomb and style. Very well.
Thank you.
So I hope that our listeners and viewers not only enjoyed this, but maybe found a few movies they want to go check out. So yeah, all right. So we appreciate your watching and your support. Though this has been both a White Rocket Babylon 5 and Sci-Fi Review podcast show and a White Rocket Entertainment podcast. Be sure to check out our show, this channel for other stuff. Starting now, we're going to be doing everything on YouTube as we go forward. They won't always be 2 hours long.
Yeah,
but we'll be doing it on here. We're going to be reviewing several things in the coming year, including Battlestar Galactica, 78 Battlestar Galactica, and finishing up some Babylon 5 stuff and a few other things. So it should be a lot of fun.
And no interruptions by the cat. I was so concerned that he would make an appearance and like lift his tail up and show the whole world his butt, but he's just sitting next to me just watching. So
sitting pretty. All right, we're gonna get out of here, Andy. We'll see you next time. Take it easy.
All right, take care, man.